Most people quit YouTube way too early, not because they're bad, but because they're not getting the views. If you're posting right now and you're getting 3, 5, 10 views, this video is exactly for you. Because what if I told you that getting very low views is exactly what's setting you up to blow up later on? In this video, I'm going to show you why it's important to keep posting, especially if nobody's watching. You see, when I first started this channel, I was getting 1 to 0 views every video. Yes, I said 1 to 0. And I think that's super important because when you first start, it can be very discouraging. When I first started, it didn't feel right to getting 1 to 3 or 0 to 1 view on every single video. In fact, I got more views in my first video than in my second, which meant I got actually more than 1. I got 3, and then on my second video I got 0. And it didn't feel right, one, because I divided my views by 3 on my second video, which should be the other way around. But even when I got 3 views, it didn't really feel right. And I think it really depends on where you're at in your journey. I can remember when I saw a creator that was saying, if you're getting 10 views per video, it's not that big of a deal or something along those lines. I was like, I'm not getting 10 views, I'm getting 1 or 3 views or 0 views in some cases. And it really depends on the scale that you're at. But at the beginning, even though you do see some creators that blow up almost overnight, most of the creators that you don't see are the ones that are struggling at the beginning and then growing later, and then start improving later on and getting more views per video. And that's exactly what happened. I don't get videos that get three views anymore. Do I wish I got more views? Yes, but I'm not at that point where I'm getting 0 views every single video or 3 views. So it's just something that you improve. One, because the algorithm understands where you're going with your content, what kind of content it is and who it's for. But how does the algorithm realize that and understand that? It understands it because the viewers are the ones that stick around, that click on your videos and that watch until the end. And if they show at the beginning to 100 people, most of the time people don't know you, so they're not watching the video. And 2, if they do watch, they tend to quit super early because they're not really interested in you and your content. But after a while, you start to grow, you start to get some views, some subscribers, and then it sort of shifts because people recognize you in your thumbnails, or at least they recognize your thumbnails, and they are more interested in what you have to say rather than when you just started and they didn't even know who you were. Once you get the algorithm and people to know you and the algorithm to recognize who your channel is for, it starts to recommend you to the right type of people, and therefore you start to grow better. Not only that, but because you're starting to shoot more videos and your camera presence is going to be a lot better, that also helps you because you have more presence, people like you more. And if you upgrade your mic, people will stay longer because they like your mic more. They like to listen to the sounds, because if you have crappy sounds, people are not going to watch the video. Especially if you're talking and you're making information channels, it's going to be very hard for people to stay on. If you have video that's not that great, that's alright, but the sound needs to be upgraded. When you're getting low views, that's also a place where you can try to improve some things, like I said, your camera presence. But it's not only that, it's also your hooks. How do you make your hooks better? How do you make your sound better? How do you improve your storytelling? All of these things are things that just fall into place when you start to create content. But at the beginning, it's also a lot of skills to learn how to do and to improve better. I was watching this video the other day where it was somebody that worked for Gary V and Alex Hormozy. So if you know those two people, they're kind of like big YouTubers. And he said that the editing isn't like the filming and the editing are not really that important. What's important is your idea and what comes with your idea and how are you going to share it with the world. That's way more important than the filming or the editing. So if you have good hooks that you write and you know what you say, just like I do, I write all of my hooks word for word, and then the next things I don't script them, I just write bullet points so I don't go on massive tangents. So all of the things that comes before filming are super important, and those are skills that you just need to learn. Also the skills of talking to a camera and things like that, but that's almost comes second hand. And he said that people like Alex Hormozy spend 90% of the time coming up with the everything that comes before actually filming. The next thing that I want to say is you need to stay grounded, because if you're getting 3 views, it can be discouraging. If you're getting 10, it still is discouraging. But if you get 10 people to watch your video or your channel in general, if you have 3 views per video and you put out 10 videos, that's a lot of people that want to listen to you talk to the camera, especially if you're talking head videos, but most likely you are doing these kind of videos. If your channel is how-tos, then you're probably talking. So getting 10 people to watch your stuff, that's a lot of people to take time out of their day and watch your channel. A lot of people don't realize this. I certainly didn't. And when I have videos that don't do as well, then, it does kind of hurt, but you also need to understand that 10, 15 people are a lot of people. And I remember watching a video where there was this creator that was pretty successful. And he said that when he started YouTube, he was very young, so he was still at school. And he was thinking in terms of classrooms. And he said, if I get 20 people to watch my videos, that's like a full classroom. And then you get to 1,000 people, and that's a whole stadium or whatever it may be. And once you start growing and realizing that these numbers are actually big, even though you don't really, when you see them on the screen, it does look small, but when you think about it, it's actually a lot of people. And when you get 100 people to watch your videos, that's a whole lot of people. So you do need to keep that in mind, because otherwise you won't realize how big your channel is and how many people are actually watching you. And yes, you see those successful channels that get hundreds of thousands of views or 10,000 views per video, but that comes after a very long time, and they probably did the same at the beginning. Just like the person that I told you, he was saying that he had, I think, 500,000 subscribers, and he was saying that yes, at the beginning he was getting 10 views, and he was doing like it was or thinking of it like it was a classroom. The next thing is about patience. So when you have something that's you enjoy doing and you feel like your energy is up, just like I said in my last video, I like to film at the times where I feel energized, not at the end of the day when I'm tired. Because when I do that, my energy goes up, and the people that watch my videos also are like that. And when you have a subject that you're passionate about, that you really want to learn about, and things like that, or you want to improve on, or whatever it may be, people can feel that. So if you're doing something just because for the money, and somebody actually asked me this question, I think it's a good question, but I said in one of my videos that I would love to create a business out of my YouTube channel, and they said do you do this just for the money? And I responded that no, I wasn't doing it for the money, but it would be nice. Who doesn't want to live off of something that they enjoy? who doesn't want to build a business of something that they love? Whatever your passion is, if you have a passion and you can live on it, there's a good chance that you would do that. And I think that to live off of YouTube, you don't need to have millions of subscribers and millions of views. In fact, I don't really want to have that. I don't want to be recognized in the street. But you can build a business of having way less views, but people that enjoy your stuff and want to learn more with you. And if you do that, then it's just both of those worlds come in. I'm interested in business. I watch YouTube, business videos, even though I haven't created one yet. Well, I've tried to in the past, but that's another subject. So if you are passionate about YouTube and making YouTube video and whatever your content is, and you're able to make money off it with a business and possibly helping people, I think that if you want to have a successful business of YouTube, you just need to help people, and people will gladly pay. I paid several times people to help me with different stuff, including YouTube, and I was happy about it. So if I can have that same kind of help to other people once my channel picks up, then I would be super happy to get paid by helping people and make them enjoy their lives more. Like, that's the ultimate goals. So I don't think there's anything shady about selling stuff on the internet, as long as it's helping people and it's not a scam, obviously, but most people don't scam other people. So I think that was a bit of something that I don't plan to write, but I think it's super important to get those two pieces together so that you can live off your social media rather than struggle and maybe try to get 1 million views per video. You do need a lot of views if you're planning on not selling anything, and that's why I'm not super into entertainment channels, because those typically are very hard to make a living off it. Yes, you see those big ones, but the reality is people that help other people in whatever subject it is tend to make way more money and help a lot more people than the bigger channels that have millions of subscribers but also struggle to make a living. Consistency builds everything. I remember when I was in December, I believe, close to Christmas, and my videos were not getting views. Like, this was after the time when I was getting 3 views. Like, I was getting a bit more views, like maybe 30 or 40 views, along those lines probably. And when I reached around Christmas, it was terrible. I was getting 10 views again. And I was like, why is this happening again? Like, I thought I had grown out of that phase of getting 10 views. But I still kept posting, and I realized that actually keeping posting and trying to improve your videos is just going to help you in the long run. Even though at the moment, when it was around Christmas, especially like between Christmas and New Year's, it was like my videos were not getting views. People were preparing for Christmas, people were preparing for New Year's, people were on holiday, and so I was getting less views. But after that, the videos that weren't getting views started to pick up again and get more views, and I was improving myself by producing these videos and making those videos. And after that, I think I cut through another step of YouTube. And I think YouTube is kind of like this. It kind of comes into steps where you get like your lowest videos are not your lowest videos. Like, if I get 30 views right now, like that video was really didn't go well. And at the time, if I got 30 views, like, that would be my best performer ever. So I think you need to keep that into perspective, and people, when they are successful on YouTube and they get 10,000 views per video, and they're like, yeah, but if your video is struggling and you get below 50 views, then, you know, whatever they're gonna say. Don't take this personally, because they forgot what it was like when they were getting 3 views. I certainly remember very well when I was getting 3 views. So all this to say that some months are going to be worse than others, but over time it will climb up and it will get better. And it might be, it probably will be slower and harder than you want, but if you stay consistent, then it will go up over time. The next thing is, what's your why? Why did you even start YouTube? I started YouTube because I wanted to share my journey. I started YouTube because I really want to build a business off YouTube. I really want to help people with YouTube. And I was passionate about learning this. And, you know, it could be financially a good idea in the future. But even now, all these things are working because I am helping people potentially. I am talking about YouTube, which nobody wants to talk to me about. And so you really need to remember, what's your why? Why did you even start YouTube? So that you can keep going. Even if you're not getting views, even if you're getting 3 views per video, or 1 or 0, typically those 0 views won't last for a very long time. So if some people are watching your channel, then remember why you're doing this. And even if people aren't watching your channel, remember why you started. What was the reason that you started to stress yourself in front of the camera? Because I do know that my first video, I was super stressed out in talking to a camera, because you're not really talking to anybody. At the same time, you're talking to a lot of people. So at the beginning, like right now, it feels like I'm talking to somebody and you're listening. But when you first start, it does not feel like that. It feels like you're talking to yourself in a room, and you sound kind of crazy, and you're super stressed. So why did you put yourself through that? Even if it was maybe to improve yourself, to improve your speaking skills, to improve your storytelling, or just to pick up a new skill. All of these reasons are valid. You just have to remember why you started in the first place. The next thing is, packaging is super, super important. I think that people don't understand the whole packaging idea. So I think titles, if you watch any how to grow on YouTube videos, they'll tell you about your titles and how to hook people in and stuff like that, and the hook at the beginning. So I'm not going to dive into that. What I am going to dive into is the thumbnail. A good thumbnail isn't a pretty thumbnail. So those are two very different things. A good thumbnail is going to tell people instantly when they first see it on the homepage, because you're not competing with yourself, you're competing with other people. So if they see a thumbnail on the homepage, it needs to get people to read the title and get people to want to click, and want to learn more about it. So it needs to tell people the best it can to what the video is about and confirm it on the title. You don't want to put the same words in your title and in your thumbnail, but just needs to confirm and maybe add some layers on top with the title. But the thumbnail is the best when it captures people's attention and makes people want to click. And it doesn't need to be pretty. Some titles or thumbnails are awful, but they get a lot of views because people just are curious about what's going to happen or what they're going to learn in that video. So don't worry really about having a pretty title or a pretty thumbnail, but make it good instead. And remember who it's for as well, because if you don't remember who it's for, it's going to be very hard for you to make a good thumbnail. So in this video, I talked a lot about the business side of YouTube, and I think it's important to treat the channel like a business. If you work a 9 to 5, you're not going to wake up, be tired, and think, I'll go to work tomorrow. That just doesn't happen. And I think that YouTube needs to be the same. Some days you're tired, sometimes you don't feel like filming, and that's okay. It happens to every creator because you have a life that's going on. You're not a kid anymore. So things like that happen, but you do need to treat it like a business. If you're working for somebody else at a 9 to 5, which a lot of people do, think about it this way. Is it more important to work for somebody else to make some money, which is fine? But is it more important to work for somebody else than yourself? You answer the question, but make a promise. If you're making a promise to somebody that employs you, make sure that you also keep a promise to yourself with posting maybe once a week or twice a week or whatever it may be. For me, it's at least once a week and sometimes twice, like this video is coming out on Wednesday. So basically treat it like a business, treat it like your life depends on it, and treat it like a real job. If you go to a job, you're going to make a YouTube video. Simple as that. And if you don't have a job, well, you also need to keep it like it was your only job. If you keep that in mind, I think that you'll grow way faster than somebody who posts when they feel like it. And also, momentum builds momentum. So if you don't feel like filming and you do film, the next time you film it's probably going to feel easier, and the time after that is also going to be easier and more fun, because the next time you probably will feel like it a little bit more. Now, if you go to work and you're over 30 and you still want to post YouTube videos, I made a video that you can check out right here, which you should definitely watch, because that's going to explain to you exactly how you should film yourself when you're at that stage. With that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.